Hey everybody, it is April 29th, 2009. I'm Sonic Suns, and I have an awkward question with regards to the holiday that happened earlier this month. Um, Way back, around 2,000 years ago or whatnot, um, what happened on Easter? Now, let me be clear. We all know the story, of let's take it not just Easter itself, but like the whole few days or week or so previous and subsequent, whatever. So we have Jesus, and we have the Last Supper and everything right there. We have him being betrayed by Judas. He gets arrested. He's tried. He's found guilty. They decide to crucify him. It goes before Pontius Pilate. Then he gets nailed to the cross. Then he dies. He's put in the tomb. A couple days later, they come back to the tomb, and they find he's not there, and he's risen, and he appears to somebody or other, and preaches his word a little bit more before ascending off into heaven. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I understand that, certainly. The thing is, when you start talking about biblical perfection, biblical inerrancy, the idea that each and every word in the Bible is exactly, perfectly, 100% the Word of God, which already seems kind of weird when in any edition of the Bible, you're going to find like little things that'll crop up. It'll be like, oh, I don't know, I'll make something up. The men and the women went fishing. And then, there'll be a little thing out of the words woman. At the bottom, it'll say, some manuscripts omit the word and the women. You know what I mean? Like little fragments of a sentence that hardly, change the general meaning. But it'll be like, oh, some manuscripts insert, and he was. Or some manuscripts, and we're talking about perfection. Why do some manuscripts include these couple of words, and some manuscripts don't include them, and which one of these manuscripts is the absolute perfect, inspired by God version? Like, if you want to go with the Bible being generally, good, or 99.9% good, or anything, that's great. I happen to believe the Bible is a great book in many ways. I don't know about the whole inerrancy bit, and I'm saying specifically on the question of Easter, which is something covered by all the Gospels, and it's mentioned in Acts as well. Well, mentioned one way or the other in all sorts of places. But mainly there's the Gospels and the book of Acts. So there's 5 different books here, all covering what is purportedly the central event of Christianity. The crowning moment, or at least among moments that have already happened. I suppose the apocalypse or something might be more important, but that hasn't happened yet. So important things that have already been recorded: Easter, trial, crucifixion, death, resurrection, ascending into heaven. Got it. What happened? I'm sure you're saying, well, we know what happened. You just said it a moment ago. Right. But here's the part where I mentioned the whole biblical inerrancy part. Here's the challenge I like to put to you, and I got this idea from a website that I'll link that was posing this very same challenge. Go through all the biblical accounts of Easter and construct a timeline of everything that happened according to the Bible. Now, you get several caveats with this. Number one, you don't have to prove it. I don't need forensic evidence or, video cameras back in that. It's okay. Just, we'll assume that the Bible is perfectly accurate. Okay. Number two, we note that the Bible is, sometimes non-specific. It says, there was a trial. It doesn't, maybe it doesn't say what time of day it started, or, exact, GPS-style locations of everything. Oh, that's okay. It's okay. Just make your best guess. You can shift things around. Okay, maybe this was in the later afternoon, or this one came for it. It doesn't exactly say. We'll put this in here. That's cool. That's cool. And furthermore, just because something is omitted in one or several books doesn't mean it didn't happen. This is a weird thing in Matthew, I believe. is the only gospel which mentions that when Jesus did his thing, and a whole bunch of saints also rose from the dead and walked around and stuff. And that seems a little odd that no one else would mention that, but with multiple people rising from the dead all over the place, you think. But just because other people didn't mention it doesn't mean it never happened. Maybe they just figured that Matthew had it covered, and they didn't need to repeat it for some reason. Okay, so those are your caveats, or your, I don't know, things you can work with. The one thing you've got to do, though, if you're arguing for biblical perfection, biblical inerrancy, is you've got to construct this timeline for me, again, with a certain amount of vagueness, it's okay, that covers each and every detail in the Bible. Because if the Bible's perfect, then each and every detail ought to have its place somewhere, right? Even if you're not sure exactly what order it happened, you should be, okay, well, this happened and then this happened. And this all gets a little weird when you notice certain things seem to be contradictory, and that gets a little awkward.